RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are back again for a live stream on this Tuesday evening, the fourth day of the month of August, and I'm excited to be back with you. Unfortunately, sad times overall, give or take what the event that's occurred today, and so I wanted to just basically check in, open up the mics, and find out what your thoughts are on what occurred today. And I remember talking about anticipating some type of an event between now and the end of this year. Is that event? I don't know, but yet I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts and as well as to find out whatever else is on your mind. And so I want to basically just check in. So it's one thing. It's not one of those normal happy-go-lucky check-ins, but let's check in and talk about it because I'm curious to get your thoughts and want to share some articles, some videos, and whatnot, and go from there. But as always, welcome to the live stream. I'm curious to find out who's joining us. If we have any new viewers, feel free to let me know where you're watching from, and I would definitely acknowledge your presence. And then also open up the phone lines and get your thoughts on what's going on and where are we going from here with all this death and destruction that's going on. So with that being the case, we got Monkey King. How you doing? We have Bahira from Florida, if I'm saying that correctly. We got JoJo, JB, John the 10th Man, O'Dane for real, Luke, Morgan, Jay from Canada, Bobcat. Sad, man. So, yeah, definitely. We got James from South Korea. How you doing, my friend? Appreciate you tuning in. Renee says, just to reset the economy happens to be sad, having a sad. Yeah, so definitely. So, of course, as you guys can see from the title of this particular live stream, start off with this, and then, of course, we'll move on as we move along. How you doing, Rick from Puerto Rico? And so, yeah, everyone is aware of what's going on by now. Beirut, Lebanon, and an event occurred today. And so I was literally got an alert as soon thereafter, and was just completely devastated from watching all those clips from different angles of a lot of people recording it from their cell phones. And it's one of the things where, as of now, there's no, apart from some numbers we're being given, there's nowhere really grabbing the full details of everything that's transpiring on those grounds right now. But I'm just curious to get your thoughts, because it's one of those things where I don't believe in accidents. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens for a reason, A, and B, also a lot of things of this magnitude seem to be based upon prior experiences, planned, if not staged events for a reason. Now, I don't never agree with the reasons, but yet, looking at it from that far left field, and you guys know how I, for those that may know or may not know, I tend to go way out left field sometimes and then reel it back in with more realistic type of solutions, opportunities, or whatever. So first thought when I saw that explosion and watching how it appeared to be relatively small, smoke, fire, flames, firecrackers in between, and then it went up into something that reminded me of not necessarily a warehouse exploding with firecrackers in it or any type of. I saw 3 or 4 different articles trying to label what exactly happened, but outside what would appear to be obvious to me, that was not an accident. That was a weapon of some kind. And so a lot of people mention a hydrogen bomb. And so that cloud of smoke and that mushroom looks very familiar, even though the side effects was not as drastic as prior nuclear or hydrogen bomb type of things would. Devastation was not as bad per se, still bad enough. And I bet it got some people's attention who it was meant to get the attention of. And so let me check in via chat, man. And then I just want to get your guys' thoughts, because accident or was it an attack? And so I really wasn't going to go down this road tonight with this subject matter. But then again, I heard or saw an article, which I'll put up here on the screen, where it looks like during this press conference earlier, President Trump spoke on it. And it was one of the things where I'm like, okay, so is this the narrative that the mainstream media wants us to run with prior to investigating further and finding out what's going on? But here's an article here that I thought I would I just grabbed it off the internet. And it says, Trump says generals feel the Beirut blast was likely an attack. And so if you listen to the little press conference more, it talks about, a bomb like. And so even the president himself mentions that it appears to be something of a bomb. And so here it says, President Donald Trump said the U.S. military generals have told him that they seem to feel the massive explosion that rocked Beirut on Tuesday, killing at least 70 people, was a terrible attack likely caused by a bomb. And so that's just what we're getting from the president of the United States. Not quite sure what's going to follow up from other nations or whatnot. But as always, I remember several times over the last couple of weeks, especially as things have unraveled, me always saying I anticipate there being some type of an event, some type of, and I hate to use the word false flag because that's thrown around very loosely, but because there's nothing usually false about the flags that have been thrown. They usually end up being very disruptive and unfortunately leaving a lot of casualties behind in the event of them orchestrators of all these events trying to prove a point or to send a message. And so I have some thoughts that I'll get into later on as to the first thing that came to my mind. And of course, this is all just me off the top of my head sharing thoughts. Of course, none of this is factual, just all my my thoughts up front. But I'm curious to find out what you guys feel or think. And so what I'm going to do is actually, for those that may not have had a chance to dive in further, I want to actually share with you because some people may not have a chance to dive into it, but just on Twitter itself is where you can find all the short clips. And so, when you see stuff like this, it really makes you wonder, just how does stuff like this just happen accidentally? Like I heard one article or one little news clip saying that there's a warehouse with about, what's it said, several hundred pounds of an old explosive or something or another that happened to go off. But it's not too often that you get results like this from something that just happened to be accidentally done or accidentally performed. So, but anyway, what else is very interesting about all this is that I talked about Lebanon last week, I think, if not the last couple of weeks, over the last couple of months, especially because of their economic conditions. Their economy is tanking. Their currency has already crumbled, and they're already in dire straits over there from a financial standpoint, the citizens. But then again, the second thought that came to my mind was I would not be surprised if this event, which I would imagine we all can agree is not an accident, it was a deliberate, attack, or I personally believe, and it's just me talking, so take it for what it's worth. But my first thought was this was just a demonstration. It was a it was a sign from whoever behind the scenes, basically giving some instructions as to what they do or do not want to see. And when I thought about the Lebanese currency crumbling, the economy crumbling, perhaps they were looking to implement something, change ships, or decide to, go against the global narrative of what's going on right now. And then this current event here could have been that wake-up call to say, hey, this is just a little bit of a small sample of what could happen if you guys happen to steer away from the global agenda or whatever. So that's something that came to my mind. And of course, that's me just going far left field on it. But anyway, enough of me ranting. Curious to find out what you guys think. And of course, there was some move in the metals or whatnot. And of course, equities is up. And so outside of this being pretty severe news, I think a lot of this is designed to grab our attention so that we can look over here, as a typical thing is, give us something to focus on over here while the real story happens over there. But anyway, enough of me ranting. Let me hear from you guys. Let me see. I'll start off a little early tonight. I'll open up the phone lines. Let me hear from you guys. Feel free to give me a call or ask a question directly, and I'll get to it. Now, I saw a question here. Let me go back in the news feed. It says, Mike, metals almost outperforming low blood pressure's credit card usage. Yeah. And so I'm not sure. I think last night I shared that article about how pretty soon. So for that particular method that you're referring to of utilizing credit to acquire metals now and worry about the debt later on, that there might be a time limit to that, just because I would imagine that just like we had the 2017, 2018, that crypto run, a lot of people were using their credit cards for that. And within a couple of weeks, the credit card companies unilaterally just decided to stop all that. So I would imagine same thing will apply now, as they're witnessing and recognizing more people, because they can see, what you're buying and where you're buying it from. So as they see more transactions from bullion dealers, coin shops, and whatever else, unilaterally they will say, "Hey, they're using our system against us. Let's cut that line of credit off." So I would imagine, of course, this is me guessing, but I would say let's just throw out by the end of this year, the credit game will not be looking the same come 2021, because once again, a system is not designed to help you benefit directly. And, as a result of last night, this is a little off the subject, but I was sharing some of the stuff from last night on social media. And I was thinking about how, banks are not your friend. Banks, they serve two purposes, typically, to somewhere to store your currency. And by storing it, they pay you to hold it there. So you're supposed to have some security from them, from theft, from robbery, and everything like that. And then you're supposed to be able to earn some interest off them borrowing your currency. So those two things right there, they're not doing too well. And so another thing that would shine more light on the fact that banks are not your friend, would therefore meaning you can't really trust the system and how everything is designed for them to operate and to profit off of you. Instead of getting interest, do you guys, are you guys, I'm sure a lot of people are and probably take advantage of it, but the concept of cash back, cash back was the exchange that they gave us for not giving us interest as a result of the last financial crisis. And so for the last 10 years now, the words cash back is everywhere. Everybody looking to get cash back. At what point do you have to spend to earn? Like, how is that possible? Spend $10, but you make $1 back. Like, come on now. So that's how much the banks are your friends, that they're willing to look out and help you get some cash back. Anyway, I'm enough ranting, man. Let me make sure these phone lines are open. Let me hear from somebody, man. I'm curious. Let's talk about this tonight. And of course, this is definitely a tragic situation. I'm not making light of this in any form or fashion. At the moment, any lives are lost is definitely something that it's a moment where we need to be thankful that hopefully none of our family friends were involved, but then also remorseful in the fact that there's a lot of people hurting right now. So we need to be conscious of that and definitely keep those individuals in our prayers, because definitely the pain is real. But yeah, it's one of the things where, because I believe you guys agree that this was not an accident. If this was a direct attack, even as President Trump mentioned, it looks like it's an attack type of thing. And of course, they're going to investigate, and then what? And so I would imagine if there's an attack, then that can be the trigger to, depending on who the parties were involved or who wants to take responsibility for it, if anybody, then that's going to also escalate. So once again, as another event that I was always mentioning, there's always the war card has always been on the table. The idea of going to war. That's what I believe we've always known, because the bankers, the financial overseers of this monetary system, wins on both ends. You win whether they're financing it or you win on the other end. And so, what was I saying? What point was I trying to say? Lost my train of thought. But okay, I keep moving. I lost my train of thought. Anyway. All right, let me check in via chat, man. How's everybody doing? Oh, so my point was, okay, I got sidetracked, is that war is always on the table. And if this was not an accident, which I'd imagine we all can agree it was not, then it was an attack or a planned event, because that was a weapon that when I was a bomb, that was a weapon. That was not just a box of firecrackers in a warehouse somewhere that went off. Therefore, we're going to hear more about this. Luke says, Mike, did you ever play basketball in Beirut? Nope, I did not. I did not have a chance to get to that region, unfortunately. Wish I did. I actually had a chance, but I did not take it. Check on YouTube, maize for sale. What we got there? What else we got here? It looks like a nuclear explosion. Yeah, that mushroom, and then that the force that came from that explosion was echoed for, I think they even heard it on Cyprus, which they says 200 some kilometers away. So, and I've watched several videos of people, and thank God for actually people, having cell phones to be able to share some footage, because 10, 20 years ago, we would have got just one camera and it would have been some mainstream news source and they would have controlled the entire narrative, as opposed to a lot of cameras being able to dissect it and to contradict what we're being told. But one of the main things I think is going to come from this is it's going to have our attention for quite some time now, and it could be the trigger towards more escalation in that region, just because we all know the U.S.'s agenda has always been to make sure they have a heavy presence there, as well as to oversee and to influence everything that happens in our region. And you factor in the petrodollar system is coming to an end right now. The oil game is not necessarily as strong as it used to be. So what better way to move along the next agenda by escalating to something else? But let's find out. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. This is Sean from Albany, New York.
Sean from New York. How you doing, my friend? What's your thoughts about this event that occurred today?
Well, if you think about the war we've been in for 20 years, weapons of mass destruction. Mm-hmm. So what they can do, they say is Hezbollah had this bomb and it went off, and Hezbollah has more bombs, which is funded by Iran, and it gives us reason for war right there. They can say Hezbollah's bomb.
Yeah, and so so by Trump coming out, just guessing that it's an attack could basically allow them to point the blame to where they want to go, which is Iran, and then of course, that's a great angle there, my friend.
So also one more thing, going on with that whole low blood pressure credit thing.
Yeah.
Back in 2018, when silver was $14,
mm-hmm.
I maxed out all my credit cards when the yield curve started to invert.
Yeah.
And then after the repo markets
mm-hmm.
started to fail in September, I took out a loan to pay off my credit cards
mm-hmm.
in 2019. And instead of paying off my credit cards, I just used that loan to buy even more silver.
So let me ask you a question. So what happened to that first credit card, and then what happened to that second loan? You still sitting on them and just paying on them slowly but surely, or you took care of them already, or you're not going to take care of them, or what?
Oh, I still have them all. Yeah, I pay them monthly. It was 4 credit cards, so
yeah.
I just pay them. I mean, I could sell the silver and I'm in profit because I got all at 14.
Yeah. Well, hey.
And then that method worked for me for sure. But that was then and not now. You know what I mean? Prices are starting to go up now.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you calling and sharing your insights. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Have a good day, Mike.
Yep. You too. Yeah, man. Definitely. So, that's a cause for some type of military conflict even further. Let me see. It says Rick. I think that's Ricky. He says, did anyone see the IG post showing a fighter plane passing just at the time of the explosion? I did not. But then again, I did hear someone being interviewed mentioning that she was a young lady who was in her apartment, not to, a mile away or whatever, saying that she was sitting with her family, whatever, and what sounded like planes. She heard airplanes over her head, and so she said she has experience from living in whatever prior years of being in a war zone area. She knew what that sounds like. She said she heard planes fly over her head, or plane or planes, and then the explosion. So, based upon what you're saying there, I didn't see that post there on IG. If somebody where that's at, or could send me that link or something like that, I'd love to check it out. But I did hear a young lady but share her story of having heard planes and saying that there was planes above her head because she know what that sound like. So, yeah. So I wouldn't, and that's another thing. So if it was an attack, that means so how would you? Let's just play that out for a minute. And so the initial video that we all saw, I believe, was just a burning building or something burning, and then one gentleman who probably had the best angle zoomed in, and it looks like fireworks going off. And a couple of seconds later, then it was a big explosion. And so in the midst of all that, when there was a little smoke and fire right there, and if something did fly over and drop something or whatever happened, that was some mighty quick action there. And so not saying that it didn't happen, but yet it's one of those things where we'll never truly know the truth. We can only suspect and guess and put together based upon all the clues that's thrown out there. So I'm not surprised. I would not be surprised at all if that was the case. So I appreciate you for bringing that to our attention. So Christopher says ammonium nitrate is explosive stuff. I don't doubt it. I have no experience with that, so I don't know. maybe a dirty bomb. But yet with the ammonium nitrate, does it, so explosive stuff, does it look like a hydrogen bomb type of, does it give the same type of results? I'm not the, chemical type of guy, but does it when it go off in the way that explosion went off, does it produce something that looks like it's a nuclear explosion or something like that? Because the way that puff of smoke just went out, and then the force that came with that shattered everything for quite a long distance. So, was it ammonium nitrate that strong? It depends on how much you have, I'm sure. But yeah. What else we got? Microsoft, aka Bill Gates, invested in contract tracing technology. Vaccines all about chip. Amila, no doubt. I completely agree with you on that one. Don't say that the ATF is listening. I'm just, exercising free speech, just having some back and forth with my people. That's all. I don't mean no harm. Let me see here. Yes, from what I read, it appeared to be a hydrogen bomb. That's some serious stuff. So here, this is where we get off, far speculation. Nobody knows. And this is where, for those that might be new to the channel, you might not know, but, back in my day, I used to put on my tinfoil hat. So everybody's been around for a while, about the tinfoil hat. And when I put that on, we go deep left field. So let's go deep a little bit if you guys don't mind, because I'm curious to, get some thoughts from you individuals and see what we can put together for ourselves. And then we'll wait to see what we're told. But of course, if you wait for the mainstream media to give you something, it's already watered down. It's a lie. So only way you can get close to the truth is through alternative media, it seems these days. And so Tennessee Volunteer says the OKC bombing was done by a small amount. Oh, really? Okay. So it does pack a powerful punch is what you're saying. So a little bit more of that could probably do some damage similar to what you're talking about when it comes to the other stuff. It says war keeps the economy afloat. I do agree. I also read about the weapon storage Iran Hezbollah thing. Yeah, so okay, Wendell, I heard about that as well. And so apparently that particular warehouse was a operation not used by Hezbollah for whatever, they were using terrorist activity, and that Israel was the one that is responsible for it. Even saw somebody mention something about I'm not sure if it's confirmed, so I'm not going to really even talk about it, but it looks like some people think that Israel is in on it. So God Freezer says not used by Hezbollah. STCB said I missed $50. My guy. Luke says, Mike, is it possible that an enemy of the state knew about the nitrate and brought a smaller bomb to initiate a detonation for the mass amount of nitrate? Would explain the two explosions. Luke, that is possible. And so hearing about the possible plane flying over from one person mentioned here, and I saw a young lady refer to it as something she heard. So between that narrative there, the possibility of two explosions, apart from all I saw initially from the footage was just a fire. And within that fire happened to be all the sparkle, fireworks or whatever. And so I don't think, was that first fire that we saw the result of an initial explosion? Because you mentioned two explosions. I don't recall hearing two explosions other than the initial blast and then the sound wave that came about after the fact, which was one of them things that, I hear happens when you have those type of explosions there. And so Wendell says, also heard something about Ukraine ships in the port, also Ukraine meeting going on somewhere. Okay, so Wendell, you're going left field on me for real. Okay. And so, yeah, as always, I think it's for me in particular, it helps me put all these thoughts together to formulate my own opinions without having to wait for whatever the leading story might be tomorrow. So by tomorrow, if not by later on tonight, God forbid, they may come out and say the White House says, President Trump says, like last year with the whole Iran and the Saudi Arabia oil situation, they came out and said that Saudi Arabia, Iran was responsible for it. The drone attack. Come on now, like within a couple of hours. So yeah, you got to be careful what you listen to and who you believe. Nurse Dan says, thank you for your hard work. Nurse Dan, I appreciate you, my man, for the love offering to the channel. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support. Monkey King says the new age hypersonic missiles have the effect of small nukes. Now, that type of technology, I am in agreement that I believe it does exist. And I do believe that Russia and China in particular are sitting on some things that it could be quite effective of that magnitude. The U.S. on the other hand, they may be sitting on something, but I don't really think it's nothing to brag home about. But it is what it is. But good thoughts there. Mr. Vince Grant, it says, I agree. Thank you for your hard work, Mike. Appreciate you, Vince, my man. Thanks for your support to the channel. So the phone lines are open, people. Let me hear from somebody. And then also we can move on as well because I don't want to stay here all day. But we all know definitely that due to the circumstances we are all experiencing and they're experiencing in that region, definitely, I definitely, have to lift that area up to the Lord right now because there's a lot of pain in that region. But yet another thought was, could that be, if that is an attack, which we all agreed it is, could that be one of more to come? And, God forbid, God forbid 100% that something like that occurs on this soil here at this current moment, given all the stuff we're facing, given the fact we're 90 days or less than 90 days from the next presidential election, and there's more chaos than ever before. At the same time, the Federal Reserve, two Federal Reserve governors want to shut down for 6 weeks, and they say that more stimulus is needed, which basically is not even stimulus. Like they need to get on with that stimulus because stimulus is a temporary measure that goes away and it produces something. At this current moment, they're trying to bail out a crumbling economy and everything in between. And so Tony Blaylock says IMF and Lebanese government was at an impasse on a loan. That will get your attention. Okay, so Tony, once again, IMF and Lebanese government meeting on a loan. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, that could have been that signal. That was basically just a little signal to say, hey, now, with the loan situation, we'll see if there's further talk. Because I imagine right now, the Lebanese people are more concerned with getting down to the nitty gritty of what this was, if they didn't know already or was not told it was going to occur. And so we'll see what comes about in the next couple of days, but hoping that, this event was a one and done type of situation as it has occurred, because if not, could you imagine what an event like that, if it happened here on U.S. soil at this moment, how divided the left and right are already. Think about this. The left and right would go completely opposite and they wouldn't be able to come back home because they're going to use that. They would use that as the ultimate agenda to get what they want. Hello, caller. Which name we calling from?
Hey, Mike. How you doing, man? This is Justin from West Palm Beach. Long time caller, but I haven't talked to you in a while, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, my man. I appreciate you calling in. What are your thoughts on all this madness?
Say it again, Mike.
Do me a favor. Can you mute the phone or the TV or the computer because we got the back feed?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you calling.
I want to find out, I haven't talked to you in a while, but I want to find out what we're gonna do. Is it gonna be hyperinflation next, or what's going on?
Well, we're getting a little stagflation right about now with a lot of assets being or a lot of certain asset classes in threat of deflating. And then also we have those overinflated asset bubbles that are continuing to go up and up. So they're going to print and create until they basically ruin the currency. So I think we can have both at the same time, somehow, some way. We can have a paper inflation as well as the introduction of that digital stuff to try to, transition us at the same time. So I can just say, purchasing power destruction is a certain. So whatever that's worth. What else on your mind, man?
Yeah. What things I was trying to figure out, like my son, he doesn't believe in that the SHT gonna hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say to people like him that don't believe in gold and silver going up and not preparing for the future? What do you say to them?
I would just say, just look at history, and just refer to it and just basically show him, highlight to him all the countries around us that have already gone through a currency situation. So as of now, there's 155 different currencies, and every one of those currencies except the Federal Reserve note has gone through a transformation of some kind. Every single one. And so what would make so the question would be, what would make you think that the Federal Reserve note is immune from those same type of issues when it comes to too much debt and no other options other than to continue to print the way that they do, to where the Federal Reserve won't follow suit in some capacity? Just look at history. I mean, history speaks for itself, I think, if he's willing to go back and educate himself in that regards.
Right.
So yeah, history is a good teacher.
So my last thing though,
Yeah.
Mike, is so what are we gonna do with the vaccines if they're requiring you to take the vaccine on your job or whatever?
Yeah.
Are we gonna exile in America and buy land and we all group together, or are we gonna go outside this country?
Man, great question. And definitely it's too early to tell, but first resist as much as you can according to what you believe is best for you. And then on top of that, really getting back to self-sustainability, where if we are able to actually still have property rights and have our normal rights without those being taken from us, then at that point we can try to do our own thing and create our own infrastructure, economy, and things of that nature. But that just sounds too good to be true. So I'd imagine it's going to come down to, unfortunately, to some type of conflict where, it will not be pretty. I don't see them giving those that choose to opt out some land over here and say live happily ever after, and we'll keep all the sheep over here and keep them, tag them and track them, and we'll just have two different worlds. So down the line somewhere, I think it's going to come to knuckles. It's going to come to blows. Ultimately, is how it's going to play out.
Oh, okay.
I think that's my opinion. I hope it's not true, but that's my opinion.
I'm gonna keep on stacking, man, and just see where we're going, and I'm gonna keep listening to to your station, and we'll go from there, man.
Appreciate
Thanks
you,
for the
man.
information, man. Be blessed.
Yep, you too. So yeah, man. Good call, great questions there. I appreciate you for calling. So that is a question. That is the priceless question of a lifetime. What will you do at the current moment that you are told that you are not able to function as normal until you get that vaccine? And that's where that to me at this current moment, that is, of more concern overall than a lot of the other financial stuff or whatever, and the end of the economy, the end of the dollar. I mean, because once again, economies crumble, currencies fail, and through ingenuity and creativity, they are able to be rebuilt up and life continues on. But yet when we're faced with, a technology war as well as war against humanity and them using technology to enslave humanity now going into this next paradigm, there's no rebuilding easily with that one because of what what they've created as the ultimate weapon, which happens to be technology, which is what they would like to infuse into our bodies at some capacity. Basically take our smartphone from our hand and put it in our arm and then in our back of our mind and all that other crap. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mike, Tony from Oakland. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, my man. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad, man. I just want to make one point when we go talking about taking the shot and taking the red pill or the blue pill.
Yeah.
According to we're soulful people experiencing a humanly body.
Correct.
So this whole body is going back to where it came from, and our souls are carrying on through. So don't be afraid.
Oh yeah.
Don't be scared. He didn't give you fear.
Very true. Very true. But it's one of them things where that's the fine line of, do you lay over? Do you just lay down, or do you resist? Like, you know, like it's one of the things we know how this ends as a believer. We know where this all goes, but yet at what point do you say you continue to fight, or just say, hey, you know, it's the Lord's will that, you know, I'm going to die and, you know, whatever. You know, so for future generations, like, you know, you're like, now you're not necessarily fighting for yourself. You're fighting for your kids and their kids. And so that's where I'm talking about like resisting or whatnot, not just rolling over and say, okay, that's your agenda. I'll take it. Let's go. That type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mine.
Yeah.
You've been that color all your life, right?
Yeah.
You know what a black market looks like, right?
Yeah.
You know, Junebug's gonna go to get the shot, and then you're gonna give Junebug half the food stamps in order to get you some food, man. There's too many people that aren't gonna take the shot. There's no way that they're gonna be able to pass that over.
Yeah.
There's no way. I'm listening to your station. I ain't seen one person say, yeah, I'm gonna take the shot.
Yeah.
So we need to just cut out all that, because that's what they want us to do, talk about that.
Yeah.
Rather than, you know, what's going on in the Middle East. Why is the bonds dropping?
Mm-hmm.
Why is the dollar falling?
Yeah.
Why is gold going up and silver going up so fast?
Yeah.
We need to stay on point.
Yeah. But see, watch this. Like, so, okay, being that if you're watching and you're one of the individuals that happen to be blessed enough to be aware of all that stuff that's going to happen anyway. And that's why it was always important to prepare for moments like this financially, of, you know, opting out financially, of not having all your entire wealth in financial products and debt-based instruments, to preserve your purchasing power. So you got your weight, you got whatever else you got asset-wise that will help you transition. And so that's old news, technically. You know what I'm saying? It's just how is it going to unfold is what we're paying attention to. But at this current moment, everybody got your weight, or as much as you probably think you need. So, you know, like that's why I said that the vaccine situation and the technology push and the war against humanity has increased rapidly. And I think this decade is going to be that defining moment.
This decade is going to be the moment of when we discover what's the new monetary system.
Yeah.
And we as individuals have been blessed to see this flip over, because 100 years ago, my grandmother didn't see this. My grandmother didn't see this.
Yeah.
This is something that we get to experience and embrace. But by all means, let's be out in front of it.
Yeah.
But don't fall into the trap, the old okie doke. And that's what we're doing constantly, because we're creatures of habit.
Yeah.
Let's get out in front of this thing. We see it coming. We see what's happening. It's like you standing on the track, looking down the track, see a light. You know it's coming. It's going to hit you.
Yeah.
What are you going to do in order to prepare not to get hit?
Yeah.
That's where we are. We see the train coming. We off the tracks looking at you, talking about what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So we got our position, man. You know, we just stay strong and stay together. You know, we can get through this. We can get through this.
Hey, I agree, my man. I appreciate you. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. And so, speaking of which, okay, I thought, because I heard about it, never really dived into it, but you know, the protest over in Germany. And so somebody mentioned 3 million strong out there, and they not falling for the okie doke no more. And so it says Berlin protests against coronavirus rules divide German leaders. So it looks like there might be and so just the fact that there's that many people, how many ever in total, willing to get out there in the streets and let their voice be heard, that's taking action right there. All right, hello, caller.
My name is Pat from Alabama. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Let me get this voice down here on this thing. I saw a tell in the markets, and I've got to share it with all my friends. And by the way, the last caller you had was outstanding. That individual knew something.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hope I'm leading you the right way. But when I saw gold and silver go sky high, the dollar was still at 98. Then after it settled, money dropped, the dollar dropped down to 93 point something. So what the epiphany I had was that as gold runs up, the dollar will maintain its value. It's when gold stops running up and everybody realizes what the dollar's worth that it drops. So buy shorts on the dollar.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an option out. That's a trading option that a lot of people use to profit off of the destruction of the Federal Reserve note. And so a lot of people are getting paid doing that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you just take ice and turn it into ice cream.
And then take the profits
Water
from
and vanilla.
that and get your weight up.
There you go. See, me and the captain hadn't been wasting our time this evening.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all I wanted to
All right,
tell
man.
you. It just came into me as an epiphany.
Well,
So you have fun.
Good
Bye.
talking to you, Pat. All right, my man. Be good. Oh, man. Good stuff there. Yeah, using these opportunities to profit off the destruction of a system definitely is a good way to get your weight up. And so a lot of people are doing that. So I saw some questions out there. Let me get back to them. Let me see. Vegas Down Crypto says, silver ain't king. Oh, my God, you don't understand basic economics. I sold my silver 10 years ago and got the new silver and gold BTC. I'm freaking wealthy now. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's that. And so here's the thing, Mr. Vegas Don. There's a lot of people who are just, let me see. So majority of the audience are precious metals enthusiasts based upon history. And then we have the new technology, which happens to be the cryptocurrency blockchain sector, which has been around, give or take, in its new form for 10 years. So there's definitely opportunities there. And so there's different methods of persevering and prospering at the collapse of this current paradigm we're in. And so let me see. My electric company put a smart meter on my home without my permission. They said, don't worry, the new tech it connects is not active yet. It's not active yet. I'm thinking 5G. Well, okay. It's not active yet. So yeah. So if they have a newer brand of smart meters, of course, you have to pay money to take those meters off, or for them to cut them off supposedly. And so I got a whole story about that crap that really pissed me off. But anyway, so if it's not activated yet, so will it connect to 5G? That is, I don't know about that. I never thought about the smart meter connecting to 5G towers like that, but it does make sense. What else we got? Okay, another call here. Yeah. All right, let me get this. Let me see here. Let me decline that one. 1 second. Well, where we go? Come on now. All right. Man. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Mike. This is Will from Chicago.
Will from Chicago. How you doing, my friend? What are your thoughts on these matters we're talking about?
Lots and lots of thoughts. Like you, I'm watching a lot of the news as well. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if you were aware of this yet, but I think you might hear about, was it August 6th and August 9th are going to be anniversaries of explosions assembly. That reminds, the picture's a lot like what we saw earlier today.
Mm-hmm. So you said August 6th, August 7th. They're going to be, say that again?
Yeah, August 6th and August 9th. Those were the atomic droppings, the atomic bombs dropping.
Yeah. And, okay.
You're talking about, what you're saying right now. If this really is indeed going out in left field, if this is indeed some sort of marker, that's one heck of a time to do it.
Yeah, and so I saw something trending on it was okay. So here I'll pull this up here. It was trending on Twitter. And so I'll pull this up here. 75 years since the atomic bomb. And so this happens to be also trending with that same time frame. So 75 years since the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And so, they're saying, what's happening in Lebanon. I've seen people talk about, was it Nagasaki, Beirut, or something like that. So, yeah. Coincidental? I don't think so.
It's quite
sad to say.
I really do hope, I truly am hoping this is kind of a one and done deal where we don't have to see any reminders of that again.
Yeah, I agree as well. And so so I was throwing out the question earlier. If we were to experience, and God forbid, another event like this, but on this soil here, how much more devastation would that create amongst all the other stuff that we got going on? And so politically, things are crumbling day by day based upon this concept of a stimulus relief, which is not really stimulating or relieving anybody, really. And so imagine them having to factor in how to navigate some type of attack or whatever else. They're going to automatically claim war. Yeah. So, I'll leave it alone.
Yeah. And I'll go out left field on this one as well and say I don't think that's in anyone's best interest for it to happen to go that far.
Yeah,
I think there's still plenty of people who remember what happened 80 years ago stirring up a hornet's nest at Pearl Harbor. And I think there's still going to be some residual effect on that, as long as we still show some force out there. Good or bad, that's kind of why I'm hoping. But I also think that I really do believe still in the ideals that the country is set for. And I think there are a lot of people who do feel that way. And it's something that can be a benefit in hard times. We've seen it happen before. The country has gone through difficult times and people have persevered.
Yeah.
I'm open. I'm holding on to the hope with that.
Yeah, I will too. But and unfortunately, as you say that, I think about as I've gotten older and done more investigative work for myself, as opposed to just taking history books for what they've been written as. All the events that we've experienced have always come with an agenda done by somebody to profit the banking sector. So, I question all the wars we've been in, all bankers' wars, all the panics and the bank panics and the recessions. They're all central bank created. So all of those have been designed, and they've used words such as patriotic and stuff like that to rally us after they've ruined us to further their agenda. So I think we've been duped into a lot of the recovery mechanisms used because of destruction they created for us. So, yeah, and this is another event that we're experiencing now, I believe. So hopefully we are able to wake up and get something done. Yeah,
I hope so as well. And I don't want to take up too much time, but I'll leave you with one last thought here with the whenever power does seem to expand out further away from the communities, that seems to be where the problem is. And I'm really hoping we're going to have some time to get power back to the communities, figure out education, figure out how people can work with one another and talk to one another again before it gets really, really quiet.
Yeah, I agree, my man. Hey, well, I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts. And thanks for going left field with me.
Hey, you're doing a great job. I
appreciate it.
You truly are doing a great service out there.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Yes, sir. Oh, man. It's just, well, yeah. All right. Let's keep moving. What else we got going on here? So I saw something about George Floyd. And so I started to watch, but it was once again, it was not I didn't see the entire thing. So feel free in the chat for those that had a chance to watch it, chime in via chat, and I'm going to definitely watch it after this live stream because I was not able to see the whole thing. And so give me the rundown on. So I saw a lot of people mention that they wish they would have saw the whole tape beforehand. Give me the rundown on what you saw with the full releasing of whatever it was, because I didn't see it. What else we got out here? Let me see. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, pay me money back. Lean Tex. How you doing?
I'm doing good, my man. How you doing?
I'm all right. Man, these people got to stop calling in and trying to figure out what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. Let me tell you, if you're asking that, it's already too late. But, I mean, there's nothing that no one's going to do. Look, I'm going to prove it. Watch this. Mm-hmm. There's nothing nobody's going to do. They're going to continue to ask questions until it went up on them. Mm-hmm. If you stick to the Bible, look, Noah preached for I don't know how many years. Didn't nobody listen. Mm-hmm. The Lord was here. He preached. Didn't nobody listen. So it don't matter what we say on these shows. Ain't nobody going to listen because they still looking for answers and not handling business. Mm-hmm. And we so brainwashed, Mike. Oh, man, we so brainwashed. I was telling some colleagues the other day, I say, man, we brainwashed. The simplest thing we brainwashed over. He was like, what do you mean? I say, all right, let's use America right now. Mm-hmm. I say, okay, you got a vehicle, you got a car, right? For that car. He's like, yeah. I say, if you don't wear your seatbelt, you get a ticket, right? He's like, yeah. I say, now who created that car? Nobody specific. He say, well, a corporation. I say, okay, a corporation. Mm-hmm. I say, but we the people will let a whole nother corporation create a whole nother vehicle that don't come with seatbelt and they don't get no ticket. So while you pulled over by the sheriff for no seatbelt, here go a motorcycle flying by, no seatbelt. They created a whole nother vehicle, but we don't say nothing.
Yeah. That's a good one. I never heard it from that point, man. That is a good one, man.
I mean, but you using that fact right there, like when you had these black guys come out with all these guns and go up to try to challenge the KKK, mm-hmm. why ain't you use all that power to go storm the White House if you really want to make a difference? See, we brainwashed, man. We fight each other. They turn on each other. Instead of you going, we complain about what Pelosi talking about, what Donald Trump. Okay, if you got a problem with it, get your gun and go to the White House. Not now Americans stepping foot on that government property, though, with they scary butt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
but
true.
I'm gonna let you go, and we can talk about it offline. Go ahead, boss.
I appreciate you, man.
Not a problem.
Yeah, be good.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's funny. I saw that comment in the post. Pay me money bags. Somebody said money bags always sound like he's 3 seconds from going postal. Oh man. Yeah, man. It's great to have such a wide variety of individuals from all across the country, nevertheless the world, chiming in and sharing their thoughts and keeping everybody sharp and on their toes, man. That's what this is all about. All right, man. What else we got going on here? And so, did anybody chime in? I'm on the George Floyd situation. I didn't see that. What else we got here? Enola Gay dropped the mushroom. Uranium bomb and rocket car dropped the plutonium. All right, I don't know about that one. What else we got here? Okay, so news subjects wise. Okay, let me see here. There was something else I wanted to share. Let me pull this up here. No, let me see. I lost it. Anyway, all right. Social engineering. George Floyd video was quite disturbing. He kept saying he was. Oh yeah, okay. So how long? Salute. Okay, so I saw that part there. So how long was the total clip? Because I don't want to play it here because I'm sure that it'll be wouldn't be appropriate. I got those RTD Silver on today. Brando, sounds good, my man. Hope you enjoy them. Way to get your weight up. All right, what we got here? Johnny, to survive them, just head into the hill. All right, so we're at the 50-minute mark. Phone's not ringing, so we can dial back. But so based upon the chat, for those that tuned in, we're talking about the current event that happened tonight. Was it an accident or an attack? Everybody pretty much agrees that, it was deliberate. And, everything that's done deliberately is always meant to either prove a point or to make a point. And I would imagine that the Lebanese government or whoever else they're trying to make that point to, it probably got across quite clearly. Now we'll see what the follow-up will be and who the U.S., because of course the U.S. happens to be the defender of all humanity, it seems, of what they've given themselves that title. And so we'll see come tomorrow what narrative they're going to play as to who it was and to what's next and who the U.S. has to go help out and defend and fight for freedom for, or something like that, to help democracy, spread democracy, as they love to say. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's low blood pressure, Corpus Christi. I just want to get a last call in right before the end. How's it going?
I'm good, my man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I got family in town. I went to the beach. Mm-hmm. About 200 people, and one person was wearing a mask, Mike.
So what's going on? I think I saw the governor or the mayor of Houston, I think, passed an ordinance to where you can get it's a $250 fine or something like that. Is that the case or?
I don't know about Houston, Mike. That's a little far. It's like 4.5 hours. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with the news, Mike. I've been, just hanging out with family, though. I've been keeping up with that gold, though. You see that move?
Yeah, I did. I have seen it, my man.
You see that move? Right now, Wells Fargo's happy, because they're like, he's finally going to pay us back, But they dumb. I ain't paying them back. They're screwing themselves, Mike.
Tell them to go kiss your rear end, huh? Oh,
yeah, you know what? I try to refinance, my house, mm-hmm. and try to get like a non-secured loan, and none of the banks are giving loans, Mike. Everything I applied like 3 different times, and they said, "Sorry, we're not doing it right now. We're not doing it right now."
Yeah,
it's like they're onto us, Mike.
They onto you, man. So you've been spreading the good news, and everybody been refinancing and all types of stuff, and they're getting their weight up, not paying people back. And they like low blood pressure did it, so they denied you, man.
Yeah, it's all good, man. As long as everybody else is doing it, I'm happy, man. I hate banks,
I hear you, man. So yeah,
I love them and I hate them. I love them because they give me money, and I hate them because they want it back.
Yeah, and I think the credit line, as far as credit cards and consumer loans and stuff like that, that stuff will be done by the end of this year, man. Especially when they go negative. When they go negative, they're not giving out loans as easy, for sure.
No, Mike. And then now they want 20% for a house, and who's got that kind of money? Nobody. They want 20% on something that they're just going to give you make-believe money. You know, it's not even real what they give you, but they want 20% of it first.
The banks are not your friend. Remember that.
No,
they're there to profit off of you, not you off them. That's how it goes.
Yeah, well, I turned the tables, Mike. You know me.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you calling, man. Good to hear your voice.
All right, Mike.
Enjoy your family, boss.
Great show.
Thanks, sir.
All right, bye-bye.
Be good.
Bye.
Yeah, man. All right. So great show. Another great show as always. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight and going back and forth. And for those that went left field with me, I appreciate you going left field with me. And let's try to put our minds around what's going on here. And so it looks like somebody was this ODAB 500 PM thermobaric bomb. Okay. The feeling that's some pretty serious stuff. I don't even know what that's about. If that's the type of bomb you say went off, that's some serious stuff there, man. All right, but anyway, we're gonna get ready to dial back. I appreciate you guys for hanging out as always. If you've enjoyed the live stream going back and forth, hit that thumbs up button beneath this video here. And then also for those that are part of the community, make sure you hit the notification tab so you'll be notified when we go live, because I've heard people mention that they're not getting notified on time. So it's up to YouTube. So as of now, we might have another couple of weeks or months before they probably, cancel all alternative medias off of YouTube. So if they happen to remove me off YouTube, make sure you guys know where to find me at. And so as of now, you can go over to rethinkingthatdollar.com, and I might end up eventually setting it up to where I can stream directly from the website here. And so just in case I'm not on YouTube, you know where to find me. So all the information you need is all the utilities and sources you need is here. So appreciate you guys as always. Pay me money bags. Good stuff. I appreciate you, my man. Thanks for calling in and thanks for your contribution to the channel. Other than that, people, be safe and be prayed up, and definitely keep the people of Lebanon in your prayers, as well as just humanity in general, and especially those that are in positions of leadership over this country and over the world, because we need the Lord like never before. And so we need some spiritual guidance and some spiritual intervention in these days. So other than that, be blessed, be safe. See you guys later. Peace.